Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Just Telling My Stories. This is Evangelist Deborah A. Wright, and I am so excited today. I have a very dear friend, a very special woman of God here, and we're going to talk about some things that she's doing and about her book, and a lot of good things are happening even in the midst of this COVID-19 season. I just want to a lot of you probably know my special guest, and I want to introduce to some and present to others, as they say in church, Evangelist Georgette Scott. Welcome. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Grace and peace to all of you. It's just a blessing to be here at KAZ Radio TV, and I'm here to talk about the things that I'm doing right now, even in the midst of the COVID-19, just because we're in the midst of all this chaos that's going on around us. That don't mean that we're all are out. But I come to encourage you as well, even that things are still going on. We just have to change programs, the way that we do things. So on August the 15th, I will be having youth drive-by where I'll be giving out school supplies. Virtuous community outreach is still in existing. We missed it on last year, but in 2020 we are giving away school supplies along with masks, gloves, and a lot of other things that the children may need, even if they're going back to school. If they're not going back to school, these are supplies that they're going to need even at home. So it's going to be at 15400 Kinsman Road. It's going to be right there. Just pull up. I will be giving the things right to you, right to your car. You don't have to get out. You don't have to touch or anything like that. But make sure that you have your glove and mask on even while you are in the car as we begin to distribute things to you. Also, you'll get a chance to meet me, the author of Women's Tears Not in Vain. I will at that time be selling books. I will be distributing out some books, and the books will be on sale at a very, very low price at that particular time. Yes, I will be signing on the book. So there's a lot of things that are still going on, and I want to thank Evangelist Deborah Wright for having me on KAZ.
Now, I always admire the work you do, and one of the interesting things that I noticed probably a couple of years ago you started, you are a contractor, a female contractor, probably the only one that I know of personally. You deal with buying and selling houses. At one point you were selling houses for $500 down.
Yes.
And you help people get to be homeowners, which is so important in our community. You help people to own their own homes, and you have a crew of people that can help them fix the homes and fix them up. I remember going to a workshop where you showed people how to do that. You do a lot of important things, but one of my favorite programs that you have is during the summer you teach young people how to do house repairs.
Absolutely. Entrepreneurs. I love my young entrepreneurs. I teach them how to do hang drywall, how to paint. My 3-year-old
hang drywall,
hang ceiling tiles. My 3-year-old granddaughter, at the time she was 3, now she's 5 years old. There's a video, if you would go on my Facebook page, Divine Property Management. I started them out just that young. She know how to take the paintbrush and dip it, wipe it, and paint. So it was like a 1, 2, 3 step that I had to teach her. And yes, teaching the young boys, young women as well how to be entrepreneurs. We are getting ready to go on August the 22nd. It's going to happen at 15400 Kinsman Road. I will be teaching the young people how to do different things, how to become an entrepreneur at a young age, how to dress for success, how to pull those pants up and wear the tie and go get that money, because it's all about getting what you need. Teaching boys you can make it without a father, you can make it without a mother. Teaching them different things because our young people need it today. They need someone to teach them. They need someone to guide them. They need spiritual guidance as well as natural guidance. There will be contractors on the scene.
Wow.
If they pass the test, they get to go to work, 14, 15 years old, working on a construction site. So it's a very exciting event.
Wow.
From 15 to 55, it don't make a difference.
I can learn to do drywall.
Yes, learn to hang drywall, learn to paint, learn to climb the ladder the right way. If you see me on there painting, painting my storefront. So there's a lot of things that's going to be going on. So
wow.
Get them signed up. Get them signed up right away for August the 22nd. I believe it's August the 22nd. We'll need them. They need to sign up like soon as possible.
Is there a cost for this program?
There is absolutely no cost.
No cost?
There's absolutely no cost.
You know, some people could look at that as free babysitting, free summer camp, a lot of good things. But the two kind of go together, because if you get the parent a house for $500 down, it's going to need some work.
Yes.
So then if the children, the teenagers, they could paint their own bedrooms.
Absolutely.
I saw kids pulling carpet.
Yes.
And putting down floors, and it looks pretty good,
and
too.
Looks good. Absolutely. My grandchildren know how to take up the tack strips. I do have a video of them taking up tack strips off the floor after the carpet was taken up. They absolutely. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Then I have pictures with them taking nails out the walls and different things like that. But it's so important. I love the youth. My heart is the youth, because they are the church for today. Tomorrow is not promised.
And now, especially during this time where they've been out of school since March.
Been out of school since March, and that's about the hardest thing. You got kids right now that are sitting in the house, getting stressed out. Parents don't know because they still have to go to work, getting stressed, nothing to do, have not even picked up a book, have not even read anything or even studied. So they need that guidance.
And so helping repair the house, they have to have their math skills, they have to have their reading skills, and it enhances their skills in a hands-on kind of way.
Yes, it does.
Now, do you take donations to help fund this project?
Absolutely. Donations will not be denied.
Okay. Paint costs money, all
Paint
those
costs
things.
money, the wood costs money, everything costs money. But if I was to be a blessing to someone else, the Bible tells me what I do secretly, God will reward me openly. And I truly believe you. That is absolutely the truth.
And then when you look at it from a young person's perspective, they have never, neither have we, seen anything like this COVID. The whole world shut down. So in their minds, they're still looking like, this is my childhood. I want to enjoy my childhood and happy summers and everything.
Yes.
But yet they're locked in. They're stuck. They're probably afraid in their minds. They wonder, will I ever finish school? Will I get to go to college? Even colleges are trying to figure out how to open back up again. And a lot of our young people, they don't have suitable internet to fully explore and enjoy what's on the internet for them.
Absolutely.
I know you mentioned possibly homeschooling for your grandchildren.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's a thought, homeschooling. If you have parents that are not doing anything, grandparents that are not doing anything, think about homeschooling your grandchildren. The majority of us anyway are taking care of our grandchildren, but you want to continue them with the education that they need so they can go out there and get a good job.
Yes. On my way here to the station, I saw my little, probably 9-year-old neighbor, and he was pushing the lawnmower. It was a struggle, but his grandpa had him out there cutting the lawn, and he was so meticulous about making his little lines so right. And I'm sure his grandpa was in the living room looking out at him.
Yes.
But I thought about your program. That's what they can do, because the Bible says the idle mind is the devil's workshop. And then with being idle, you can get depressed, you can feel alone, you can feel like all is lost.
Absolutely.
So this program, they will at least know a hammer from a monkey wrench and from a whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because at the end of the teaching, I will be grabbing tools. I'll be throwing the tools out there, because that's the first thing they have to know. Their tools, size paintbrush they're going to use, the drills that they're going to use, the bits that they're going to use, certain things like that. So I will be throwing tools out there. They got to go out there. They have to get it. They have to match it with their tests. They will be tested. And once they be tested and everything, the contractor's going to be there. They're going to be watching. They're going to assist them. the motto is no child left behind.
No child left behind.
No child left behind.
And
We'll
then-
push you to get where you got to get to.
And then the beautiful thing is when God gave you these two programs about the houses and about the repair for the children, they can feel like their parents investing in a house is a family project. Maybe they can go and change the doorknobs or
Yes.
paint their own bedrooms
Yes.
or lay down the vinyl, something. But they can feel at that age that during the summer of COVID, I learned how to paint a room. I learned
Oh,
how
my
to do
goodness.
things. My dear grandson that was murdered, he was in the midst of a program that they went around that year, and they were painting dorms.
Wow.
So a contractor took them on. He's like 6'2", so he was one of their favorite. And they took them from dorm to dorm, and they painted the dorms, and they were learning the skill at painting. And he was really good at it. They had given him a scholarship.
Wow.
You know, but then on August, you know, other things happen. But if you can pour into a child or pour into a person, when I thought that maybe God was taking me away with the cancer last year, the main thing I wanted to do is leave something behind, pour into somebody, pour into them. You know, you pouring into a 9-year-old now, they may live to be 92 and we're
That's
long
right.
gone.
That's
that
right.
same skill that you taught them how to do.
Yes.
And I was watching a video on YouTube about the tenements in Chicago, and they went and they interviewed different people, and I was like, if the landlord don't paint, get the same color paint and paint your own place.
That's right.
You
Paint
know,
your own.
we don't have to be so dependent on other people to change our environment. There's things that we could do. And how much does a can of paint cost?
A can of paint can run you from $10 all the way up to $40, $50.
So you sitting up in that room looking like at the 1930s, you could get a can. Well, if you don't know how to paint, contact Evangelist Georgette, and maybe she'll squeeze you in there even if you are 55.
Right.
But learn to change our environments in the way that we can instead of sitting around waiting for people to do things for us. There's so many programs and if you listen to KAZ, you'll hear a lot of them.
Yes.
So many different programs going on and so many things happening that find something. You have that grandchild that's getting on your nerves during the summer, call her. And then when he gets done, he can come and paint your living room.
That's right. That's
or
right.
porch or some different things. So it's a
Yes.
win-win situation.
Absolutely.
Now, I am so excited to have Evangelist Scott on here today because she's a woman of many, many, many hats. I mean, she's had a radio show for how many years with your mom?
Well, we had that for a while, good while, way back, WABQ on when it was on Euclid.
Way back.
Yes.
She's a cosmetologist. I mean, she's just a motivator. She's so many different things. And before we go to the next part of that, I want to break the announcements now so I won't interrupt this wonderful part coming up. If you haven't tagged and shared with your friends, please do that now because we're going to go directly to this exciting book that you just recently published and share with you some of the things that God gave her. Well, at this office on August 1st, I don't know if you can see this flyer, but it'll be posted on my Facebook page. But we're introducing our first Saturday book signing workshop and pop-up. It's going to have various authors having their book signings. Evangelist Georgette will be there. Small business workshops. We're going to teach some workshops on things like how to recover after COVID. A lot of you have lost jobs. A lot of you are looking to start a home-based business. A lot of you have changes in your life that you never asked for. But you can't just roll over and die and give up. We'll give you some strategies to show you how to pick up the pieces and run with the pieces that you have. We'll also have pop-up vendors. We have paparazzi coming. We have bread coming, specialty breads. We have soap. We have candles. Small clothing and different things, because a lot of you that are vendors, your income has cut down. So we have space for 12 to 15 people. We have 11 already. So, but anyway, contact me at 216-302-9478 and I can give you further details, or contact me on Facebook, Deborah A. Wright, or Milana Mills on Facebook. So that'll be Saturday, August 1st at the suite from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock noon, and that's 27801 Euclid on the 4th floor. Contact Parablist Publishing House for additional information. Also, I've gotten a couple of calls from some people asking me to please do a marriage workshop. And the marriage workshop is simply because people have been in the house since March with one other person, and some people need access to other people, but so we have enough space to spread out. It's not necessarily per se a marriage conference, but that same day I was asked that, I heard about this book, Accessing the Courts of Heaven, How to Position Yourself for Breakthrough in Prayer by Robert Henderson. So I ordered some of these books. If you would like to participate in our group book discussion at the suite, contact me on Facebook, and we will have, hopefully, maybe 10 people that we'll have in-house. A few more, we'll just spread out even farther, and possibly on Zoom. But if we get our prayer life together at a higher level, some of these other things won't be as much of a problem. So those are my announcements for today. You can always message me on Facebook or contact me. But today I'm so excited because we have another book that we're going to talk about that Pastor Georgette wrote. And the name of it is, show it, Woman, Your Tears Are Not in Vain. Tell us a little bit about your book.
When I first began to write this book, I was sitting on my bedside, and God began to speak. And it says, your tears are not in vain. And I jumped up, because when you hear from God, you're everywhere. I said, tears not in vain. I said, okay, my tears are not in vain. And I got excited, called a few people about it, and I prayed about it and thought about it. I said, okay, that's a book, that's a conference, that's where you want me to go with this, God. Tears not in vain. And then God began to speak that everything that I went through in my life was not in vain. Being a single mother, raising up, brings chills.
Yeah. All right.
Being a single mother, raising up 3 kids, it's not hard. I have a set of twins, 31 years old, heart murmur. God brought all these things back to my attention. Being married, being divorced, church hurt, a lot of other things. My tears now are not in vain. Thank you. It's not in vain, because it's the joy of the Lord that brings me strength.
Yes.
And I thank God for allowing me to write this book, to put this book together. But the book basically is about me, and it's to help women and let them know that your tears, whatever you're going through, even right now, right this minute, second, or hour, even in the midst of COVID-19, your tears are not in vain. A lot of you are crying because you have lost jobs, you have lost your spouse, you have lost loved ones because of the COVID-19. But I'm here to tell you that your tears are not in vain. God knows what we're going through. He knew at the beginning of time what we was going to go through. But it's not in vain. God is leading us and guiding us in a whole new different direction. But as I sit back over my life and I think about all the things that God have done for me, the things that he had pulled me out. Yes, I even been to jail. My God. But that had that woke me up. Never was strung out on drugs, never smoked a cigarette, never smoked weed or anything like that. But every now and then I did the beer or whatever, and thank God for deliverance on today.
Yes,
but God brought all these things back to my memory within the side of this book. And he let me know that my tears are not in vain, and my tears are saved into a bottle.
Yes, Lord.
And that's in Psalms 56. He saved those tears. Our tears and our pain is how we transfer our feelings to one another. And that's the way that we cry. Just because you got tears are shedding when you're a woman or a man, that don't mean that you're a punk, you're sorry, you're all these other things. It means that you're strong. You're strong with it, but it's a way of expressing yourself. So this book talks about all of that, all of that. It talks about a righteous cry, even in Psalms 34 and 17. It is a constant practice of a real believer when in distress to cry unto God. It is their constant comfort that he has them covered.
Yes,
God
Lord.
sees your tears and hears your war cry. And God knows your tears. A lot of us are sleeping in the middle of the night with pillows soaked with tears.
My Lord, my Lord, my
Soaked with tears. But I'm here to tell you that your tears are not in vain. Your tears are not in vain.
No.
God sees what you're going through. He hears your prayer.
And we purposely told you all the things that God is doing in her life now so you can see that her tears weren't in vain. I mean, this woman puts on revivals and workshops and all kinds of powerful events because she knows where the Lord has brought her from. And if you come on August 1st, she's going to have her table and she's going to tell a little bit more of her testimony. And just during this time, we really need to know that our tears are not in vain.
They're not in vain.
You know, when you read her book and you see what all she went through and how she looks now, how she carries herself now. I didn't recognize when I pulled up into the studio because the car that I saw a few weeks ago was not the car that was out there shining out
God
there
is
and
still
looking
blessing.
good and new. And so God will reward you for the hard times. He will reward you for the tears and for the pain that you share when you don't give up.
Don't
One
give up.
thing I've never seen you do is give up on something. Never. It may
Gotta
be
press.
hard, but you didn't give up. It may have not been popular with all the people that we want things to be popular
Yes.
with, but you've always been true to God and true to who you are.
Yes.
And so
have to.
instead of looking at people and figuring, well, why did God tell them to do that or whatever? Well, the fruit will show that. The result will show that. The many children that this summer will not join the gangs, will not get in all kinds of trouble because they have one woman of God that listens to God and is willing to take her time and her money to sow into their lives.
Yes.
That's one thing that everybody can use is how to fix up the place where they live.
Yes.
These children can go back and begin to change the neighborhoods where they live, painting one fence at a time, painting one door at a time, doing things. So those of you that don't have the courage to do what she's doing, sow into her. What's your cash app?
Thank you, Scott. The simplest one. Thank you, Scott. I want to thank you in advance for all just sewing into me.
Yes, and if you're one of those that complain because the young people are walking across your grass or the young people or whatever, sign them up.
Yes.
You know, say, I got something for you, little neighbor boy. How about that?
Yes.
And I'm gonna sign them up and make a donation so that she can change their lives.
Absolutely.
I am a little bit concerned about the education of our young people that have gone through this COVID. But what did you tell me before about parents and grandparents particularly should take on the task of training their children?
If you can take on the task of them and help them out. Take on the task. It's it'll be worth your while. It'll be worth your while. Take time out and help these children because they are in need of help. They are in need of help in many ways than one.
I heard earlier on one person said, well, if they she said her daughter's name, if they let her house past 4 weeks, she ain't going back to school, And we have to take initiative as people of God to catch that. Don't let the devil take our children.
No.
It's hard enough. The graduation rates are struggling already within our communities.
Yes.
So teach them a trade.
Teach them.
Teach them a trade. My
Absolutely.
dad graduated through the 11th grade because he was on his own since he was 12 years old, living in the streets of Memphis.
Wow.
But yet God, through the grace of God, God gave him a job helping the engineers at General Motors. They went to his yard while he was cutting grass and hired him on the spot in the yard because of what he knew of how to do things. So they can always be able to provide a living for themselves.
Yes.
I just want you to be encouraged, and I wanted her for this show because the world is so desperate in need of answers, desperate in need of why are we going through this thing. But woman, man, your tears are not in vain.
Not in vain. It's
They're
not in vain.
Would you like to, we have about 4 minutes left, would you like to speak and encourage those that are just really, and pray for those that are just really don't know where to turn, and let them know where they can get your book right away if they need it?
Yes. The program is under George S. Divine Property Management, LLC. Also, you can give me a call at 216-303-1615. I'd be glad to talk with you, counsel with you, lead you and guide you in the way your child should go. But I encourage the women, and I also encourage the men today, whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you're divorced, know that God sees you. Know that God sits up high and he looks down low, and he knows your every need. God will supply your need. Not your wants. He will supply your needs. Amen. And I thank God because he have supplied all my needs. And when he supply all your needs, he'll give you a chance to give you what you want to as well.
Like out there in the parking lot.
Yeah. I just got a new vehicle, and I just thank God. I thank God for what he's doing in my life. If you can be a blessing to somebody else, do it. You ain't got to boast about it, but just do it. Just do it. The world needs right now, while we're in the midst of this COVID-19, the midst of this pandemic, we need love. We need love. If you can show love. And as we was talking earlier about ministers, pastors, evangelists, the fivefold ministry, we as leaders, we're not doing the full potentials that God have called us to do.
Amen.
We need to get out and do more. There was a time where we had went out to the grocery store and have not spoke to not anybody about their salvation. Have not even spoke to that boy about putting his pants up. Not spoke to that girl about smoking that weed. We have not did our full potential as leaders. But as leaders, we need to get on the battlefield for the Lord.
Yes.
Women, know that your tears are not as vain. My book is available on Amazon.com. I want to thank the author, my very own evangelist, not the author. I want to thank thank her for helping me with this book. She helped me put this book together, and she did it on Evangelist Deborah Wright. She put them together, and she did an awesome job. So I want to thank her, take this time to thank her for having me to come on here. I want to thank her for inviting me. I want to thank her for even publishing, that's what I'm looking for, publishing my book for me. I'm getting ready to do a second book. I'm going to do a second book, so get ready for the second book. They are available on Amazon.com, and I want to thank you again for listening to me. God bless each and every one of you.
And again, you can see Evangelist Scott on August 1st. She'll have her table with her book. And but what's that date to sign up for the kids again?
They need to be signed up by before July the 15th.
Okay, that's coming up soon. Once again, we pray that each and every one of you will consider your own relationship with Jesus Christ. If you don't know him as your personal Savior, you can have him today, right now, for yourself. And we just thank you for tuning in to another episode of Just Telling My Stories, where we tell live stories, written stories, all kinds of stories, just to encourage and inspire you again. Thanks again, and have a safe and happy holiday.